About a year ago, I was getting ready to travel to Japan, and as a 30-year-old, this was my first time leaving the country, and so I was a little nervous. I was a little scared, but I was mostly excited, and so I thought today I would share that story with you. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. And yeah, as the title suggests, I went to Japan last year and it was amazing. It was such a wonderful trip. And so I wanted to share a brief recap of the trip with you guys, as well as some of my best, tips for going to Japan. I will leave it all in the description. And then if you have any questions or if you are wanting to elaborate more on some of what I'm saying, feel free to do so in the comments. Okay, I feel nervous to make this video. I don't know why. I feel like there's a lot of pressure to just have this be perfect, and it doesn't need to be. I'm chilling. It's fine. Okay. I thought I would give you a quick rundown of the background, help to paint the picture. Last year in Osaka, Japan, they were holding the World Expo, and my boyfriend was gonna be dancing at it for 2 months. And so he was gonna be leaving in April. And so I knew that I was gonna be missing him a lot. 2 months, it's a lot of time. And B, I kind of thought this could be a good excuse to go see another country, go experience it with him, and also just kind of expand my world. Because like I said, I had never left the US. And so I feel like when you don't travel, your world is kind of small. This trip kind of came about really fast. He left in the second week of April, and on the day that I dropped him off at the airport, I went home, bought my plane ticket. I had already applied for my passport and had it expedited a week or two before that, and the plan was for me to go in May. But before I left, like I said, I applied for my passport, I paid to have it expedited, I bought the plane ticket. I had told myself I would go if I could find a plane ticket under $1,000. Some of you are probably laughing because that is very laughable. It's very laughable. I did not find a plane ticket for even close to $1,000. It just wasn't gonna happen. It didn't exist. But the thing is, I'm the kind of person where once I've decided I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So I eventually found a plane ticket where I would fly from Salt Lake City, where I live, to LAX, and then I would board a jet for Tokyo and then hop on a connecting flight to Osaka. So I got my plane ticket. I did some research about what to pack because I wanted to be very respectful of the culture and I wanted to dress appropriately. And so I tried to put together some outfits where I could blend in a little bit, and be dressed appropriately. And then my boyfriend and I kind of put together an itinerary of what we wanted to do probably a week before I left. But I will say I was so excited. I was so excited to go. I was a little nervous to travel there by myself, but I knew that once I got to the Osaka airport, he would meet me there, and then he would take care of me and I'd be fine. So yeah, I guess, let's see. We could just start with the plane ride. The plane ride was very nice. Quick side story. So because my plane ticket was so expensive, I settled for a middle seat because any other seat had a fee. And so I just decided, you know what? I will be uncomfortable, but it's temporary. I can get through it. I don't need to spend another $200 to sit by the window. So that was the plan. I was in LAX in line to board the plane, and I guess the flight attendants, they were looking for a single passenger. And when I got up to scan my ticket, the lady had asked if I was traveling by myself, and I said yes. And so she had asked me to step aside, and long story short, they needed to move some people around with their seats, and I got bumped up to Premium Plus. And it ruined me, I think. I think it ruined me for the next time I travel abroad, because I had a seat that was so spacious and I could like fully just kick my legs up. I was able to put my carry-on bag in front of my seat, rest my feet on top of it, and I had a nice pillow and blanket and headphones, and I could just listen to movies and go to sleep, and it was a good experience. I don't know if I would have been able to afford that kind of experience in other circumstances, but it was a good experience. We arrived in Tokyo, and I just remember as we were getting ready to land and I was looking out the window, I just had this feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm in a different country. Whoa, this is really cool, okay. And then we landed and we all got off the plane, and I felt a little nervous because I just thought, I know I need to go to customs, but I don't know exactly like where I'm supposed to go, but I knew to follow the crowd. You know, we eventually arrived at customs. Before I left for Japan, I had read that I should create a profile on the official Japan website, and it's basically for tourists where you can fill out a profile, fill out all of the information that just kind of explains why you were there in the country, and it creates a QR code that can be scanned at customs, and it just makes everything so much quicker. So I had that already prepared ahead of time, and I remember I was standing in line next to this young guy, this kid, and it turned out he was a senior in high school and he was traveling to Japan by himself, but he was gonna be meeting his sister there, and they were taking a siblings trip. And he was a little nervous. He was a little bit like, I've never done this before. And so he asked me, he said, hey, do you know where to find the little paper that I need to fill out? And so I showed him the website and I said, hey, just fill this out. It's very quick. It'll make it very easy for you. And so I kind of walked him through it, kind of helped him get it filled out. And then by the time we got to the little scanner, he was able to scan it, and it was easy breezy, and I was happy that I was able to be there for him in that moment and make things a little bit easier. And it was kind of like the big sister in me. It felt like a big sister moment. Once I got through that, I went up the escalator, and I just remember thinking, I don't know where to go. I knew that I had to get to a different part of the airport, and I was at the Narita airport, which is smaller than is it Haneda airport? But it still felt big to me. And so what I did was I actually went to the help desk. It's like the information desk. And the lady working, she was actually able to speak really good English. And so she kind of guided me on where to go. I had to go outside, get on the bus, and then ride over to a different part of the airport. And I just remember when I got on the bus, I had that first moment of realizing like, okay, I have no idea what all of these signs on the bus say. I have no idea what the people around me are saying. Like, I definitely feel like I'm in a different country. Like, I kind of feel like an outsider right now. And I had never been in that situation before. And I will say, like, it was a little unsettling, like at first, but I'm really glad that I was able to be in that situation, because I've always had empathy for people who come to this country and they don't speak English. But I think to actually be in that situation and be in those shoes, I think it just kind of opened up a new understanding and perspective. And so I think it was healthy to be in that situation. Once I got off the bus, I went over to get through security and get to my gate. And that whole process was very easy, very seamless, very effortless, short lines, short wait times. It was so easy. It was so easy. And then once I got on the Japan Jetstar, that was a super short airplane ride, and I actually lucked out and I got the window seat. I got to watch the sunset, and it was really nice. And then we landed at the Osaka airport, and I texted my boyfriend and I told him I landed and we were gonna meet over in the hallway that kind of leads to the train station. Now, I just wanna say, I regret so much that I had not brought my YouTube channel back yet by this point. I regret not vlogging, not having vlogs to share from this trip, because this trip would have made such good vlog material, and not even for the sake of just simply vlogging, but like for my own like digital diary sake. But I did take a lot of photos and I did take a lot of vertical videos, and so I have made a couple of YouTube shorts that are on my channel, so you can go check those out. I met up with my boyfriend, we were reunited, it felt so good, and then we walked over to the train station. Here's one thing that I would highly suggest if you are going to Japan. There is a card, a digital card that you can download for your Apple Wallet called the Suica card. I would highly suggest using that because you can load it directly from your Apple Wallet or your bank, and it's right on your phone, and this is what you can use to pay for using the train. All you have to do is just scan your phone, but yes, Suica card, highly recommend. Once we got on the train, it was a smooth, quiet ride to his apartment. My first impression, the train was full of people. Everybody was dressed really nice, like truly business casual, and the train itself was super clean. It had like a very clean, picked up, respectable feeling to it. It was quiet. People weren't really talking. Everybody was just kind of keeping to themselves, being quiet. Yeah, it was very peaceful. Once we arrived to his train station in Osaka, we got off, we walked to his apartment, and again, even though, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I arrived at 8 p.m. in Osaka. So it was nighttime, and I think we arrived to his train station probably around like 9:30. So once we got off the train, we walked to his apartment, and even though it was dark outside, I could still tell that it just felt clean. The streets, the sidewalks, like everything just felt really well taken care of. I got my first taste of 7-Eleven and Family Mart. And if you live in the States, you will know that 7-Eleven, it's okay. It's okay. Well, listen, 7-Eleven in Japan, different story. It is a totally different story. It's nice. And then we just went back to his apartment. I took a shower. It felt really good to be able to lay down. I was really tired, but in saying that, I don't think we went to sleep until like midnight. Got up, I think at 7 the next morning because we had a busy day ahead of us. We got up, each of us packed our own like little backpack of clothing because we were gonna be going to Tokyo and then to Disneyland. And then we headed out at probably like 8:30 or 9 a.m. and he knows I love coffee and coffee shops, and so he had been there for a month. So he was fairly well versed in the area that he lived in and just like how to get around with public transportation. And there was a coffee shop that he had noticed and he thought maybe I would like it. So he took me there on our first morning, and yeah, it was really nice. It was it looked like the kind of place I would totally hang out. And I got a coffee, I think he got some breakfast. And then we walked over to the train station so that we could go to Nara. And it's known for the deer. And that was like the biggest reason that I wanted to go to Nara. I took the train to Nara. The train ride was pleasant. Again, it was quiet, it was peaceful, it was calm. I think he even took a nap. And then when we got off the train, we walked over to this deer park where these deer, they literally just live. They live in the city. They live in the city. They are used to people. They're not afraid to come up to you because you can actually buy these little deer cookie biscuits and then you can feed it to them. So that's what people do. It's what they've been doing for years. And so yeah, I wanted to go see all the deer. I love deer, the ivory fawn. So we did that. It was a really cool experience. I would highly recommend. And then we walked over to the Nara temple, and it's such an impressive building. It's huge, and it's this big giant wooden temple, and there's the largest bronze Buddha statue inside. It was really cool. It was so cool. If you love history or you love old things or architecture or if you like the finer things in life, I would highly recommend going to this temple. After we walked through the temple, we went outside and just kind of walked around some of the neighborhoods, and we headed back over to this market. It was like a long corridor with little shops all up and down. And we got some matcha ice cream. It was really good. And did we get some mochi too? I think we got matcha ice cream and it had mochi, if I remember correctly. It was really good. It was so good. But then from there, we got on the bullet train to head to Tokyo because the very next day we would be going to Disneyland. So we got on the bullet train. Once again, it was super easy to navigate. Now the bullet train does not take the Suica card. You have to actually buy a ticket at the train station, and it's easy. It's, fairly easy to figure out. I would recommend downloading the Google Translate app ahead of time so that for obvious reasons. But the bullet train was a good experience. Yes, you do go very fast. It's very smooth. The ride was peaceful, enjoyable. So once we arrived to Tokyo, we got off the train and it was packed. I don't think I have any photos or videos, but it was packed. So many people. I mean, you could probably just Google it. So many people, but again, everybody was dressed nicely in their business attire, and the train station was clean. And we even, we stopped to use the restroom in the train station, and clean. It was clean. It was so clean. I don't think that's really a thing here in the US. Unfortunately, I mean, it's not a typical thing. There were a lot of shops in the train station, and so there were a couple that my boyfriend wanted to go find. There was a Pokemon store, so we went to that. It was around this time that I decided I had the goal of getting an umbrella while I was here, because I had read and noticed that everybody kind of keeps an umbrella on them, and I don't know, it felt like a good souvenir to bring home. So it was at this time that I started to keep an eye out for little shops where I could buy an umbrella. But then we left the train station, we went outside. We wanted to first find a Godzilla statue. There's a statue, there's actually two in Tokyo, but we wanted to find the first one because it was in the general area that we were in, and so we walked around, we found it. Quick side note, we did a lot of walking, so I can't emphasize enough that good walking shoes are super important. Found the statue, and then we walked over to Shibuya. We got to experience that, and we went into the famous Starbucks so that we could try to see it from up above, because the Starbucks is right on the corner, and I think it's on the third floor up, so you get a really good view. I did order a matcha. You can't walk over to the window unless you order a drink, which fair enough. We got to see, I'm blanking on his name, but we got to see the little dog statue. That was cute. It was very busy, lots and lots of people. And then from there, what did we do? I think we got food at a restaurant. We got food at an outdoor restaurant. What was it that I got? I don't remember. My boyfriend got ramen, and then I got something else. I'll put it on the screen, but it was so good. And it was an outdoor restaurant, so we got to just sit outside, enjoy the fresh air, enjoy the ambience of the city. I do remember I had another American cultural shock moment internally. So we sat down, and I don't think there was anything on the table, and I just remember thinking, oh yeah, they'll bring silverware here, I'm sure, in a moment. And then I was like, no, they're not gonna bring silverware. I'm in Japan. They're not bringing silverware. And so I used chopsticks, and it was great. It was totally fine. It was great. I loved it. Good experience. But after the restaurant, we walked over to Shinjuku, and it was so cool to see the city lit up in all of these neon lights. And normally, I will say that isn't really my scene, but this just brought a whole new perspective and appreciation for me. And I just remember thinking, wow, this is truly impressive. This is so cool. And so you know, we got to see all of the lights. We got to see the other Godzilla because there's another Godzilla up above. I think it's every hour on the hour or every 10 minutes he breathes out fire and you can see it. So we got to see that. And then we did go into, was it called it was one of the fun little dollar stores that has like 5 levels. And I got an umbrella. Let me go grab it quick. I will show you the umbrella that I got. I feel like I'm so unprepared for this video because I remembered a couple of other things that I should have brought from Nara. So let me just show you really fast. One thing I noticed in Japan was that everybody had these like little plushies clipped to their bags. And so while we were in Nara, I had to get my own little deer. This did go on my bag. I wanted to fit in with the crowd. And then I also got this little figurine, little ceramic deer. Those were the 2 items I got in Nara, but then I got this umbrella. Yeah, nice little umbrella. And then from there, it was getting pretty late and we were getting pretty tired and we knew that we had a long day ahead of us the following day. So we got on the train and started making our way over to the hotel that we were gonna be staying at. I have decided that the Disneyland portion of this story is gonna be in its own video because I don't want this video to get too long, and it will if I include everything. So keep an eye out for that. That's coming next. The Tokyo Disneyland Disney Sea story time. Separate video. Once it's uploaded, I will link it down below in the description. How do I do that? How do I skip 2 days and then just jump back into the story? Basically, we took the bullet train back to Osaka to my boyfriend's apartment. And then the following day, we were gonna go to Kyoto, which I was really, really excited about, with it just being a super historical city. Just all of the architecture, all of the richness as far as the visual aesthetics go. I feel like Kyoto feels a little bit like a blur because we did so much that day in such a short time. We saw almost everything that was on our list, but we didn't see like the official bamboo forest because it was just a little bit too far out of the way with everything else that we needed to do and the time that we had. And so when we first arrived to Kyoto, we walked over to the Fushimi Inari shrine, which is where you see the thousands of vibrant, kind of orangish torii gates. We walked over there. It was so cool, but it was so packed with people. Tons and tons of people, and we probably could have made more of an effort to get there super early in the day, but we just didn't. On one hand, it felt a tiny bit frustrating because it was just like, oh my gosh, like I am shoulder to shoulder with people walking through here, like trying to get around. But then I remembered I am one of the people in the crowd. Like that's just the way it is. Like we are all here to see this probably for the first time, and I can't be frustrated. It just is what it is. So we didn't stay there for too long. We walked up the pathway for probably like 100 feet, and then we turned around because also in keeping good time management, knowing that there was so much more else that we needed to see. From there, what did we do? Like I can't remember. I feel like I need to look at my camera roll. We walked over into one of the like city street areas, and we just kind of walked into a couple of little shops, and then we got on a bus because we wanted to go to the kiyomizu-dera temple area to go see that. And then we also wanted to go check out the Higashiyama street. Oh man, I'm probably saying these names so badly, but it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And when we were at the temple, you know, we got to walk around and see it, and we walked up the trail a little bit, and we even saw signs to not feed the wild monkeys because they can become aggressive. We didn't see any monkeys, but yeah, we just, you know, like it was super busy, but we made the best of it. I mean, we were in Kyoto, Japan. Like, how could you not have the best time, even if it's busy? I did have the goal of getting matcha while in Kyoto, so we did stop at a coffee shop and I got a matcha iced latte. And then we did walk over to the Nishiki food market. It was really cool. It was so cool to see all of the different foods, and we did try a couple of different things. We tried octopus. We tried fried octopus, and it was good. We did visit a temple. It was called the Hokanji temple, and it had a really beautiful, peaceful garden surrounding it. It was so beautiful. I don't remember the specifics of the story, but this woman many years ago had it built, the shrine, she had it built for her late husband, and the romantic in me just thought, I love it. I love love. Yeah, so that was probably like my favorite part of Kyoto, aside from walking down the tiny little streets with the beautiful buildings and just all of the architecture and the colors, and visually it was beautiful, so good. We did walk into a Studio Ghibli, I've always said Studio Ghibli shop. That was really cool to see, just the aesthetics of the building and the little shop. It was so cool. Again, like I said, I wish I had vlogged. Man, I regret not vlogging. Can't go back and vlog that trip, but I can go to Japan again and vlog the next time. Then after Kyoto, you know, we just spent some time in Osaka, and then I had to leave, and I was really sad. I felt like I hadn't spent enough time there. My boyfriend was like, yeah, wish you were here for like 10 days, you know? I was really proud of us for making the absolute most of the days that we did have, and we were literally on the go from like sun up to sundown. It left me feeling such an admiration for the country and the people of Japan and their culture and just their way of life. I mean, I truly can't express it enough. Everything was so clean, and there was such a level of respect that felt unfamiliar, but it felt so nice. I mean, gosh, while we were in Kyoto, there were these guys, American guys, and they were being loud and they were cussing and yelling and like not being violent, but they were just like, I think they were being full of themselves, and I just felt the secondhand embarrassment, and I was just like, can we not? I remember I landed back at the Denver, Colorado airport, and even though I wasn't in Japan for that long, I remember being in the Denver airport and just thinking, why is everybody so loud? And why is everybody dressed like in their pajamas? Or not necessarily, but like everybody is just super casual. And it was just such a culture shock coming from Japan, even though I hadn't been there for that long. I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, there is such a difference. Wow, I had never noticed this before. And I went and used the restroom, and I just remember thinking, this is so gross. I just remember having that initial like first impression again after being away. I just thought it was super interesting to be in that situation where I was able to look at things from a different lens and a different perspective. It was such a good trip. I'm so thankful that I worked up the courage to like actually go and do it. I feel like there's so much more that I could say in this video about this trip, but it was amazing. I am so thankful that I went. You know, I couldn't have asked for a better trip. I wish I had stayed longer, but what are you gonna do? Like I said, let me know if you have any questions at all. Let me know if you have your own stories or your own suggestions from your trip to Japan, or if you'd like me to elaborate more on something, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to do that for you. Keep an eye out for the Tokyo Disneyland story time because it is coming. But yeah, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other and yourself, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.